Hi, my name is Deb from DG Reads, and this is my furry sidekick Kylie, and we're here today to bring our final book haul for 2024. As the year starts to wind down, publishing starts to slow down a little bit, book mail starts to slow down a little bit, my shopping starts to slow maybe a little bit, but I do have some really exciting books that have come in over the space of November and the very tail end of October even, and December of course. So let's go ahead and let Kylie get back to her treat and to her napping, and I will start talking to you about my books. Okay, for the first category of books, I want to highlight a few that were sent to me by some very lovely people from the book community. And the first of those actually came in maybe half an hour after I stopped filming my last book haul. And it was a birthday gift from Claire at Claire's Neverland of Books. Go check out her channel. But she sent me Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. This is a series that I think the third book has just started to be announced, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a series I've been wanting to pick up. I know several people who have loved it, and this paperback, every time I walk through the bookstore, is just calling to me because it is just so floppy. So clearly this is one I want to read with book in hand and enjoy the floppiness and check out a vampire story that I am hoping to love. And then I was spoiled as part of a Secret Santa gift exchange from Sierra at Sierra Higgins Reads, and these are two from my wish list I am super excited for. I have Slewfoot by Brom. I literally just finished last week my first Brom book, which was Krampus, and I am so excited to get into more of his books. And I love that these always have some fun, interesting like illustrations and all of that, so having the physical in hand to be very happy. And then she also sent me I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This is one I have heard things about, don't know much about it, but I've seen some really stellar reviews, and all I know is there's a group of women, they've been kept underground, under guard for years and years and don't really remember their lives before, and then I think they get out and have to confront the world, and I'm intrigued. And then from Cassidy at Covers with Cassidy, I received Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. This is one that Mel at Melanor Reads has had me wanting to pick up and putting on my list. I'm really excited to get to it. It sounds like a chilling, thrilling, good time. I believe it starts a series, so I'm hoping to love this one and continue on with it. And then moving on to books that I've received from publishers, I received The Legacy of Arniston House, and this is by T.L. Ujo. This is from Tor, and this is part of a series that I've had on my TBR for far too long. I need to get to it. I think this is book 4, so I have some catching up to do, but these covers are magnificent and they have me really intrigued. This series starts with The Library of the Dead, and it's got dark academia type vibes, magic, all things that are buzzwords for me. Next, from Tor.com, I have an arc for The River Has Roots. This is by Amal El Motar, and this is the author who wrote This Is How We Lose the Time War, which I loved. So I'm really excited to pick up something new by them. It's a nice short little novella, and it is due for publication in March of 2025. From Blackstone Publishing, I received The Great Library of Tomorrow, which is a recent release. This is by Rosalia Aguilar Solis, and this cover is honestly what initially drew me in. It's a gorgeous naked hardcover, and it's a bookish, magical book. There is a library at the center of the story. It says it protects the values of humanity, and then there are attacks, and I'm intrigued to find out more. Next up, from William Morrow, I have Welcome to Pawnee, Stories of Friendship, Waffles, and Parks and Recreation by Jim O'Hare. And I really enjoyed Parks and Rec as a TV show to just turn my brain off a little bit and have fun with, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a nonfiction read with kind of some of those same vibes and some of the real stories behind the TV show that I enjoyed so much. From Scout Press, I received Count My Lies by Sophie Stava, and this one is on sale March 4th. And in this one, we're following a woman who is prone to telling lies to keep life more interesting. In doing so, she winds up the nanny for a rich family, it sounds like, but then it says, be careful what you lie for. And then from Inklore, which is a division of Random House, I received an arc for Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. And then within a couple days, I received a copy of the finished copy. So I'm going to show you that one because it is gorgeous, and it has a really pretty cover, sprayed edges there which say, the first moment I saw you, I knew you would ruin me. And this is just such a pretty book that I am really excited to check out more about it. The blurb on the back just says, most fairy tales end with a wedding and a happily ever after, but this is no fairy tale. And this one just came out in November. From Ink and Willow, which is is also part of Random House, I received the board book, Word Games, Quizzes, and Other Phone-Free Activities to Liven Up Your Dull Moments. I love a good word game, or a number game in particular, and this one has some interesting things in it. This looks perfect to throw in. It's a nice small book, throw in for travel and for a little bit of a change of pace while just kind of sitting around and not doing a whole lot other than just playing mindless games on your phone. From Simon & Schuster, I received The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. This was a release in 2022 and one that I missed at the time, so I was excited to get a copy of this one. I really generally enjoy Megan Miranda's books, some more than others, but her most recent one was definitely a hit for me, so I'm excited to finally get to something on her backlist that I missed. This one says it is a gripping and propulsive thriller about a string of vanishings in a mountain resort town. The next two I received from Del Rey and Random House, and I'll show you them as a pair because they are books 2 and 3 in a series, and that is The Traitor Queen and The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen, and these are part of the Bridge Kingdom series. I have recently also received from them the Bridge Kingdom, and it is on my list to definitely get to this series in 2025. So I'm glad that I have the first 3 in the series to be able to kind of binge through them, hopefully at a quick pace. They do start to get a little bit longer as they go, but I have heard great things about these and I'm excited to finally get to them. And these new covers, or at least new to me, are really gorgeous. Probably blinding you a little bit, so I apologize for that. From Gallery, I received The Night Marchers, a novel of terror. This is by J. Lincoln Finn, and I don't know a lot about this one. The blurb starts by saying, in 1939, on a remote Pacific island, botanical researcher Irene plunges off a waterfall to her death, convinced the spirits of her dead husband and daughter had joined the Night Marchers, ghosts of ancient warriors that rise from their burial sites on moonless nights. Island setting, something creepy going on. This definitely sounds like one that will work for me. Also from Gallery, I have an arc next, and this is Polybius, I'm assuming is how you say that, by Colin Armstrong, and this one comes out on April 29th, and it has a creepy looking video game on the cover, and the kind of tagline on the back says, Stranger Things meets The Walking Dead in this chilling novel based on the urban legend about a video game created by the government for psychological warfare. So very excited for this one. Again from Gallery, I received The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier. This is an author that I have really loved in the past, and The Butcher is one of her older titles, I believe. I want to say it might have been originally self-published and has been more recently picked up. I'm very wrong about that, but I have very recently seen an audio for this come out and received this one now from Gallery. This sounds like there was a serial killer in the past who was captured or killed, and now a lot of years later secrets are coming out, things that people believed are called into question, and it sounds like a twisty turny good time thriller. And then from Simon & Schuster, I have Tilt by Emma Patty, and this one is a arc coming out in March 2025, and we're following a woman. She's 9 months pregnant, she's at IKEA shopping for a crib, and then the world goes to chaos with a big earthquake. She winds up having to walk. That's really what it says. It takes place over the space of a day, so it sounds like a high energy, quick paced story. It is a nice short one, and I'm excited to get to it. And then from Del Rey, I have We Shall Be Monsters by Alyssa Weiss. And this one says, it's a girl marked for death ventures into the wooded realm of the fairies to rescue her mother in this dark lyrical fantasy about vengeful witches, beastly fathers, and the stories mothers tell to keep their daughters safe. This cover just really called to me also, so that is definitely on my list. And then I picked up a fun one for Kylie, and that is The Happiest Dog on the Block, Canine Enrichment Activities to Keep Your Pet Young and Healthy by Taylor Fenton. And this has a lot of just fun things in it, different ideas for bathing and toys and playing games and doing some recipes and smoothie maps and just fun things, it looks like. So Kylie and I will definitely be looking through this and enjoying some good times together with that. And in addition to some treats and ideas for Kylie, I got one for me too. From Avery of Good and Sweet by Brian Levy, a new way to bake with naturally sweet ingredients. I'm definitely always looking for ways to satisfy my sweet tooth while trying to cut back a bit on sugar, and this has some really gorgeous looking things in it. Really beautiful full color recipe photos and all of that going on here as well. And I 100% am looking forward to doing some baking and treating. And then from Tor, I have the Gin Bar Bot of Shantuport, and this is by Samit Basu. This sounds like it is a mix of sci-fi with potentially some fantasy type elements. It talks about there being a relic rumored to be able to reshape reality, forces from before time began, and it sounds like it will be a really fun one. The cover hints at some really interesting things, like little sci-fi-y monkey going on down here. I don't know, but I will be finding out. And then from William Morrow, a kind of fun, interesting one. This is What If by Randall Munroe, and it is serious scientific answers to absurd hypothetical questions. And it looks like so much fun. It has a bunch of Q&A, it's got illustrations and some really silly looking ones along the way, but also actual scientific looking ones. So I am thinking this is one that's probably going to be fun to just kind of pick up, read a little bit, look through it, and kind of pick it up. Kind of like short stories almost, in between bigger reads. From Harper, I received a finished copy of Shell Games by Bonnie Kistler. This is one that I received as an ARC earlier on. It was in my most recent, I believe it was, ARC Attack. I will have that linked if you want my thoughts, but generally I had a really good time with this one. We've got a wedding, a second chance romance, and then on the honeymoon night, the groom confesses to something really horrible that he did in the past, and the bride is left reeling, and there's a lot of moving parts in this one, a lot of unlikable family members, but also compelling to read about ones. So this was a good time. And then from Tor Nightfire, I have another March arc for you, and that is White Line Fever by Casey Jones. This sounds like a road trip that goes really, really wrong. It says it's a harrowing thrill ride about friendship, trauma, and learning how to take the wheel of your own life. It is set on County Road 95, but it's known as the Devil's Driveway because there are horrors there, unspeakable horrors. And then last but certainly not least in this category, in page count and excitement level, we've got Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, which is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, and it is massive. I don't always know what packages I'm picking up when I go to UPS to fetch book mail, but when I felt the weight of this particular box, I knew what it had to be, and I was so excited to open it up. I love Brandon Sanderson. I love the Stormlight Archive. This is one I definitely will be reading in 2025. I'm just debating what I want to reread before I get to this one, just to fully absorb and enjoy it. So this is high on my priority list. All right, and now let's see where I spent my money with my book shopping over the last 2 months. Starting with Twisted Retreat. I received Antinora by Dory Lumpkin. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but it is a really pretty edition. It's got little metal corners on it, shiny sprayed edges, and got some end papers in here, and the book is signed as well. I really don't know anything about this one. It's nice and short. What really happened to Nora Willett? The religious community of Bethel, Alabama can't agree on the truth. They always said she was trouble. Later they said she was possessed. Maybe she lost her mind, killing 3 people and injuring many others. I am definitely intrigued to check this one out. And then also from Twisted Retreat, got Do What Godmother Says by L.S. Stratton, and this one again, very pretty edition. I really like the edges on this one. And we have a signature in here as well, exclusive signed edition. The book itself is very pretty. It says it's a modern day writer and a Harlem Renaissance artist are connected by a painting with a deadly secret in this gripping dual timeline gothic thriller. And then speaking of pretty editions, I have my Fairy Loot book here, Sorcery and Small Magics by Maga Ducey, and this one is quite stunning. And the back says, will you look for me? Each glimpse beckon, calling from within, listen for me until the ringing of my voice becomes your only song. Hold my name in your bones until every wish need not be spoken. So I'm guessing we've got some magic, some romance, some music, given the illustrations here, and it is another gorgeous edition from them. Ooh, that's pretty too. Oh wow. Blinding you, sorry. But very pretty under the cover as well. And then the one I was especially excited to get from Fairy Loot was Air by Sabaa Tahir. This is an author I've absolutely adored in the past, and I'm really excited to get to this one. Is yet again a very stunning edition, and all I know really about this one is it is set in the same world as the Ember in the Ashes series, but it is a standalone in that sense as well. I think it's the original cover under the cover. I've got some more really pretty foiling going on here. And with this author, I was going to pick this up regardless, so I was really excited to get a special edition of it. And then one of my pre-orders that came in was Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. This is the second book following What the River Knows, and that one I received in a book box, and I couldn't wait to read the second book. We're following a young woman who travels all the way to Egypt. She's looking for answers in the death of her parents, I believe it was, and the first book was such a quick, fast, fun binge for me that I'm really eager to pick this one up. And then another one I had pre-ordered was The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig, and this is a really pretty special edition from Barnes & Noble. This one is actually on my horror bingo. It's a blend of horror and fantasy is my understanding, and the prompt that I'm using this for is having death personified, and my understanding is the main character in here, her godfather, her benefactor, is death, or the god of death, and so I'm gonna make that count for my horror bingo. But I have really enjoyed this author's writing before, so I'm eager and excited for this one. From Nightworms, I received After the People Lights Have Gone Off. This is a story collection from Stephen Graham Jones, and it is a special edition with a signature in it. And Stephen Graham Jones has written a lot of things that I've really loved, so I'm really excited to pick this up. And also in that Nightworms package, we received The Queen by Nick Cutter. This is one I had also received from the publisher, so I obviously really need to get to it. We've got bees, we've got a creepy cover, and an author that has definitely disturbed me before. From Illumicrate, I received The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. This one is stunning, of course, and it says it is a star investigator and her rival journeying through layers of reality to save the world as they know it. It's full of reality-bending magic, sapphic romance, and tantalizing mystery. So it definitely sounds like one that could very much be up my alley. It is gorgeous. Naked Harper as well. And I'm eager to definitely check this one out. In the Black Friday sales, I picked up a couple of things from Once Upon a Book Club, including one of their Halloween boxes, which is for Sherry Lupina's What Have You Done? And with these, if you're not familiar with the subscription and with their special edition books, you get a book, you read the book, and as you're flipping through pages, you will eventually get to these moments where it tells you to open a gift, and there will be a wrapped gift for you to open that somehow aligns with the story itself. These are a lot of fun, and in the Black Friday sales with their discounts, I couldn't resist picking it up. One that I had pre-ordered that I was so excited to get and still can't wait to read is Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. This is an author I really loved both of his previous novels that he's written. This is a really short novella. It's set at a rest stop. From what I've heard, it's a weird, wild, crazy time, kind of slasher vibes, isolated setting vibes, all things that should work really well for me. And then in a bit of pango shopping, I picked up The Watchers by A.M. Shine, largely because I really wanted this cover as opposed to the movie tie-in cover. This is also on my horror bingo to read something with an adaptation. This one does have a Netflix, I believe it is, show, and it is one that sounds really interesting. There are people, there's a concrete bunker in the middle of the forest. They can't leave it or bad stuff happens. All of this is just going off memory. I could be messing that up, but it is one I definitely will be getting to fulfill my bingo card. Another one that I pre-ordered and was really excited to get is Darkly by Marisha Pessl, and this cover, quite frankly, drew me in. It is a psychological suspense thriller, I believe. It's YA. It's by the author who wrote Night Film, which I really enjoyed when I did my horror movie vlog, and this is one that has me intrigued. It says, a seemingly ordinary teenage girl, a mysterious internship, and a legendary game designer now dead with a dark legacy. So this has definitely some buzzwords that have me interested. And then I have another couple from Nightworms. The first one being Cold Snap by Lindy Ryan. This is a quick little novella. We did get a signature card for it, and it says, 2 weeks ago, Christine's husband slipped off the roof while hanging Christmas lights and fell to his death on the front lawn. The family then flees to a cabin in a remote setting, but then things are going to go wrong. This is a horror subscription, so I expect so. And then the second book that we got for the month is The Darkest Night, Chilling Stories from the Biggest Names in Horror. And there are a lot of authors here that I'm really excited about. Josh Malerman, Darcy Coates, many, many more that I definitely recognize. And I am thrilled to have some more kind of seasonal short stories to get into. And then another one from Once Upon a Book Club. This was part of the regular subscription. And this is This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. It says, 10 years ago, they saved the realm. It ruined their lives. And on the back, it says, former friends, former flames, a mayhem-spiked quest. What could go wrong? It sounds like it could be a really fun one. It sounds like there's a touch of fantasy, a touch of romance, and adventure, all good things, and a really fun package. I should also mention, because I always forget to, that I do have a discount code for this particular subscription box. If you ever want to check it out, DG Reads 10 will get you a discount on your first order. And it's truly one that I really have fun with. I subscribe, I pay for my own subscription. I'm not being sent books for free. So it is one that I truly recommend. Another pre-order, I have Games Untold, and this is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and it is part of the Inheritance Game series. I have really been having a lot of fun with these books. They are YA, adventure, mystery, games, challenges type stories, and they're just a lot of fun to just sit and binge read. The first book I think I read in one sitting, and all of the books since then have been really quick and fun, and I am very happy to be continuing the series. Another one from Once Upon a Book Club. This was again part of one of the regular boxes that I received, and this is The Memory Dress by Jade Beer. 2 women, 10 dresses, one last chance at love. It says, a missing husband and a dress once owned by Princess Diana set 2 very different women on paths of discovery that will change their lives forever in this dazzling new novel. And it looks like it's a split timeline between 1988 and 2018. And then one I picked up recently from Target, partially to make sure I hit my free shipping target, and because it's one that I do plan to read in 2025 for my 25 and 25 bingo challenge from Brie at Four Paws in a Book, which will already be out and I will have linked for you. But that is The Perfect Lie by Jo Spain. This is an author who I have enjoyed in the past. I read The Confessions by her and really wanted to pick up more of her books and just never have. So this one says, he jumped to his death in front of witnesses. Now his wife is charged with his murder. This is one of her more recent books, and I am excited to pick this up. Hopefully get to more of her backlist as well. And then one last one from Once Upon a Book Club. It comes in such a cute little box. I had to actually show you the actual box. These are a mini box from them. This is a new line of products that they've put out, a few different mini boxes, and these obviously come in a cute little box. And this is one, again, that I picked up from the Black Friday sale when everything was on discount. But the book that I picked is You Can Run. It is a romantic thriller. It's the start of a new series by Rebecca Zanetti. And I have had a friend tell me that she's enjoyed this author before, so it had me intrigued to pick it up. And with it, as with most of their things, you do get a sticker, you do get a bookmark, you get a print, which you can see behind the bookmark there, with a quote from the book. And with these mini boxes, you get a couple little gifts to go with it as well. And last but not least, I have 2 more from Fairy Loot to show you. The first being The Teller of Small Fortunes. This is by Julie Leong, and I love that little tea sprayed edge on there. It says Small Fortunes, Big Feelings. And it's just so pretty. It's feeling very spring to me. From what I know of this one, it's kind of cozy fantasy, and the blurb inside kind of backs that up. It says a cozy fantasy about trying to find yourself and finding a family instead. So I'm anticipating found family, which I do enjoy. Cozy fantasy can kind of go either way for me, so it is one that I am very intrigued to try out. And then my last book for this haul is also from Fairy Loot, and that is For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. Again, need I even say that it's gorgeous? Because of course it is. We've got end papers with foiling, a really pretty naked hardcover as well. And the back just says, the whispers grew louder, like the stones themselves were speaking to me, like the earth had been cleaved in two and begun talking. And that one word rose again above the rest, an incantation and warning all at once, revenge. And I love a good revenge George story. So that has me super hyped for this one. So that wraps up a very precariously stacked stack of books that I am going to be taking into 2025 with me for some really exciting reading to look forward to. Let me know in the comments below, are any of these on your TBR? Are there any here you would highly recommend? Are there any here that you want me to read so I can review for you? Let me know all the things down below. And if you've made it this far and you don't have anything to comment, leave me an emoji related to books, because I mean, that's a given. I really appreciate you spending time with me. Thank you again to those who gifted me books. I really and truly appreciate you. And to everyone who is here, I appreciate your time with me as well. If you could hit that like button below, I would surely appreciate that also. And subscribe if you're interested in more of my book hauls, more of my thoughts on these books, and more of my bookish content in general. But for now, I will go ahead and leave you here and see you real soon in a new video.